Stay passionate through the lows. Find strength in the chaos, no matter which way it goes. It's not easy being blue. Heartbreak comes in many ways, the hardest times, the darkest days, but all these things get washed away with us, with us. The highs might not come every day, but memories do, and memories stay. Enjoy that moment anyway with us, with us, with us. It's not easy being blue. It's not easy being blue.
Evening all, welcome back to the Not Quite Monday assessment by the view from the Medway Fancast, sponsored by Snodhurst Used Car Sales and Service Station and Wiki Creative, and in partnership with Sports Social Podcast Network and Her Game 2, where we're still trying to work out what sport the referee thought he was officiating last night. Gillingham v Colchester delivered 90 minutes of fouls not given, fouls invented, and decisions so bad they deserve their own post-match interview. Players were kicked, shoved, dragged, play on. Someone sneezed near an opponent, free kick. The game staggered to full time, held together by pure chaos, and then the whistle went. And like a referee-led social experiment into anarchy, we got a full-time North Kent Royal Rumble. Players piling in, benches emptying, arms flying, a perfect ending to an evening where control had already been abandoned around minute 3. But in fairness, the ref didn't lose control of the match because he never bloody had it. So if you came for the football, unlucky. If you stayed for the carnage, congratulations. This evening, I am joined by
co-host David and Rob, and we have to say that Luke Teachin has gone to Turkey, and he has not only changed sex, but he's actually got some hair. So yeah, Luke couldn't join us last minute for family reasons, like childcare for his children, which is fair enough. So yeah, Bex has stepped in last minute. So how are we doing? And I'll start with you, David.
All good, mate. Yeah. Christmas tree came down today. Once it's done, it's done. Just last couple of days, been out and about spending my 2 young kids' money on more presents that they want to fill the house with. That
they don't actually need. Yeah,
correct.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah. And Rob, yourself, have you been other than football?
Yeah, all good, mate. All good. Same, really. You know, playing with the kids and their new toys, and trying not to get annoyed with all the noise and the mess, and the normal stuff. Being a parent, great, eh?
Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. And Bex, thank you for stepping in last minute. Obviously, Luke couldn't do tonight, but thank you very much. So, how was your Christmas?
Quiet, peaceful. My kids arrived home about 15 minutes ago, so we're having Christmas Day tomorrow, which will be quite nice, but it'll still be chilled. Too much food, I expect.
There we go. That's all we need to know. But yeah, so we will move on quickly to the game itself, because obviously during this period we are like quick flip overs. So we'll just get on to the lineups and then we'll talk about the game.
We started with Jake Turner in goal. We then had a back three of Andy Smith, the returning Connor Masterson, and Sam Gale. We then had wing backs in the shape of Romeo Hutton and Aaron Rowe, with Little and Mackenzie in centre mid. We then had Daki in at the 10. We then had a front two of Sam Vokes and Seb Palmer Holden.
There we go. So I'll go with you, Rob, mate. And the lineup come out 6:30. I keep thinking 1:45 because we're so used to a 3 o'clock kickoff. So yeah, the 6:30 they came out. What were your overriding thoughts when they came out, mate?
I think first and foremost, I was shocked not to see Andrews there, because I thought he was outstanding in the Cambridge game. I kind of expected he'd be in. Over the moon, see Daki back in. A bit nervous about Rowe at left wing back. He always gives me shivers when I see him on the team sheet there, but I'll get onto it later. I thought he'd done all right, to be fair. And it's lovely to see Masterson back as well. I always think we look better at the back when he's there. So overall, I was quite happy with it. Just a few changes that I didn't see coming.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, mate. And David, yourself?
A bit like Rob, it feels like Ainsworth's going for the put names in a hat type thing at the moment and just see what happens. I was shocked with the amount of changes from the Cambridge game, especially to have a brand new front two. Obviously, felt sorry for my mate Nevitt, who had to play out wide against Cambridge. We then play a front two, and he doesn't get to play in it, which I found a little bit harsh. And again, like Rob, Rowe at wing back. I'm sure I'll come onto it in the game. It's not for me. And I don't know what your thoughts, Chris, on this back three thing. Now that we've got Smith, Masterson, and Gale all available, do you think this is going to be it now for the season, or do you think Gareth will at some point have to pick one to miss out?
I don't know. Do you know what? I actually, and this is going to shock a few people, I thought we actually looked a lot better when the back five was the way it was yesterday. I probably would have taken Rowe out of that personally, but he did have a good game. So without going too much into the game itself, it looked all right. You know, Masterson come back and he was giving it, you know, to both of the centre backs around him. I just don't know at the moment. I just think we're so, what's the word? We don't have good enough players essentially throughout the spine of the team to really question Gareth at the moment. I think when we get to January, get to the summer, then we can kind of like judge it. But I think we're just trying to make the best of what we've got at the moment.
So that's it from me, mate.
Oh, okay. So yeah, Beck's 6:30 last night come out, and what were your overriding thoughts with the lineup?
Well, I wasn't entirely surprised to see that Andrews didn't start because I think they were quite clear with the fixture congestion about protecting key players. I know they did that with Dak last match, and I get the feeling that they're badly going to want Andrews firing on all cylinders for the Swindon game. So I wasn't shocked to see that he didn't start, although I think he should have. I think on the whole it was all right. I think that back three looks so much more solid with Connor in there. And I think obviously he's only just back. Give him a match or two to get his proper match fitness back, and I think it's going to look really good at the back. But there wasn't too much there that really surprised me. I like Dak in the number 10 position. I think that suits him. It lets him have a bit more freedom. I echo what everyone said about Rowe, but yeah, to me it wasn't too many shocks.
Yeah, I do just want to add that I do prefer a back four, and if we were playing a back four, then I would definitely have Gale or Masterson there. No disrespect to Andy Smith, but I just feel that he came in last season on loan and he looked all right, and that he's kind of gone off the boil a little bit. And I find that he holds players too much. We talk about it when Ollie Hawkins was here last season. We talk about Seb. We talk about it with Vokes, and he's that defender. He literally would pull the striker's shirt off him if he could, which could probably lend to why he gave away a penalty. But we will talk about that in a little while. So I guess we will just quickly touch on the game itself. I don't think we were terrible. I don't think we were good, but we were slightly better than Cambridge. David, I'll go with you on this one, mate. We'll talk about the first. Do we have to talk about the first half? Well, it was a bit of a non-event, wasn't it? So we will talk about the second half because we were definitely better in the second half. And yeah, your overview on the second half before we get into other things.
Sure. I just thought for the whole game, it felt like we gave them way too much respect. And I'm shocked that the possession stats are like they are. It felt like for large periods of the game, they had a lot of the football. They were definitely a lot better going forward, Colchester, than they were at the back. And at times, their wingers did cause us a lot of problems. And that's where the issue I do find with Rowe playing at fullback. It's that thing with a wing back. What do you want? Do you want a wing back that's better at attacking, or do you want a wing back that's better at defending? Because the way we're playing at the moment, you kind of feel you need the latter, but ideally you probably want one that is better going forward. yeah, this three in the back thing, I think, is going to become a bit of a conundrum now, because I think the best three defenders we've got are now all fit, and I think in the past managers have been scared to drop one, and it'd be interesting to see if Gareth does, especially with one being out of contract at the end of the season, one probably not going to be here next season, and the one that most fans would probably drop, definitely probably going to be here next season.
Yeah.
Still here. So it will be interesting. I think, like most people, I just want to see us with a back four. I think we look a lot better. At times I felt we got a little bit overrun in the middle of the park, and you can always tell when we're struggling, because Daki comes way too deep to come and fetch the ball, because he wants to be on the ball. It's what he wants to do. I thought our goal was probably the best passage of play we had the whole game. It was nice to see us put a few passes together, and I thought Robbie took his goal really well. The penalty was frustrating. I don't think it needed to be done. There looked to be enough people in and around Smith. I think Andrews was pretty close, and he's a big old lump. But I don't think Smith needed to do what he did. So yeah, I've got no complaints with the penalty. I think, like you said a minute ago, it was better than Cambridge, but there's still so much more. And I just wish, I'm sure we're going to get on to the end bit later, but I just wish that they showed a bit more during the game, like they did once the whistle had gone. I'm still surprised that there was no yellow cards given after that. I don't know what.
All reds.
I'm sure that's going to be a separate talking point. So I won't go into that too much. But yeah, better than Cambridge, but still a lot to do. We need to get a win somehow and somewhere, because I think we're one win in 17. I think now in all competitions, and it's not good enough.
No, it's not good enough, Bex, is it? And the last time we did win was at Bristol Rovers, and we haven't won at home since September. It's becoming concerning. I appreciate it's a 2-year plan. I appreciate Gareth hasn't necessarily got the players that he wants. But what do you feel when we're sitting there basically going into 2026 and we're still not winning games?
I mean, it's definitely frustrating. And I think what was bad yesterday was we hit a point where we thought, oh, we might actually win this one. And there was always that feeling of we're going to concede. You're right. We do have to get a win. I think the only thing that I'm clinging to is that we tend to play better against better teams. So I'm hoping that means we can pull off a shock in the next couple of games and perhaps nick some points. But I just think a win would do so much for everybody's confidence from both the players' perspective and fans' perspective. And there was so much talk on socials about, noise from the Raynham end and interactions. And you just think, well, it's really hard when it feels like deja vu every single week. And we turn up expecting a draw and we get a draw and we think, well, thank goodness it was a draw and not a loss. But we do need a win, and I felt actually in this game, we came the closest we have in recent weeks, because there were some really nice spells of play. There were little odd snippets where there was some really good passing going on, and that was leading to the chart. I mean, that was what led to our goal. But we've got to do more of that. We've got to stop faffing about, trying to hang on to the ball. We've just got to play quick passing, because when we do that, we look much better. Yeah.
Yeah, and Rob, I'll go with you, mate. I want to quickly mention off the cuff, Romeo Hutton to start with. We will get onto your thoughts as well, but do you think that Romeo Hutton gets a free ride too much because he's the only right back at the club? The amount of times that he even lets the ball come to him and doesn't attack the ball, he lets the ball go out of play so he can have a long throw, and the amount of times that the ball comes to him and he just lets it go out of play for absolutely no reason other than the fact he doesn't control it. So do you think that we need a right back to give him some competition? Because Harry Webster seems to have disappeared into oblivion. Like, he was doing really well, and I feel that he needs a bit of competition, because he's just not. Like, it just seems to be like he gets the ball and he's just not that bothered anymore.
Yeah, I've been saying all season, I think only having one player in a position allows for complacency. And quite frankly, he looks half the time like he's playing down the park. Like he doesn't look interested really. Even from warm up, even watch them warm up, he just strolls around like he's God's gift. He's clearly got a bit of an ego. Like that's very clear. And he's also got a lot of talent when he wants to work and he wants to try. And that just causes even more frustration. The only thing he's done well in the last 3, 4, 5 games is take a long throw in. And I think when the only thing the team's benefited from is the fact you can throw a ball, your time's probably up. But all the time there isn't a replacement. Realistically, you're in the team, and I think a right back would be lovely. Because I feel like the last 10 minutes of the game yesterday, when he was getting forward, taking people on, putting balls in the box, that's what you want to see for 90 minutes. Like there was a few, like he clipped one in for Gale, he hit the post. He clipped one in for Andrews, it went just wide. If you're doing that all game, you're getting 4 or 5 more chances in the box to score a goal. And what we need to start doing is scoring goals. So when he's up for it and he's trying, he's a benefit to the team. But when he's not, he's a passenger. And I think he's a passenger more than he's a benefit.
Which is a shame, really, isn't it, though, David, if you think about it, because earlier on in the season, he was probably one of our better players. I don't think any Jules fan would say in the first maybe 10, 11 games that Romeo Hutton was doing anything wrong. I can't stand these long throw-ins, right? It's only come off once for us this season, David. And why do we keep persisting with them? Where you could take a quick, short one and then maybe get the ball into the box with someone else.
It's got to be team orders because, like you said, the amount of times he actually has the chance to keep the ball in play and they let it go out. And at Priestfield, there's not much distance from the hoardings to the actual line. And where I sit, I saw he got pulled up for a foul throw because I think his foot was on the pitch against Cambridge. He does that an awful lot down right in front of where we sit. He's always very close to foul throwing a lot. But I can only think it's a team order, and it's become obviously very fashionable in the higher leagues now, these long throws. But when he first arrived, I was quite impressed. I thought, we got a good player here. But now I'm starting to feel like he's almost crossing for the sake of it. He doesn't really get his head up that much because the amount of times he actually crosses the ball and there's one player in the box to aim for, and it goes nowhere near them. And the more I watch him, I don't know if this is controversial or not, but he doesn't seem like he's much of an upgrade from Alexander or Jackson, our previous 2 right backs. And when he arrived, he looked, in my opinion, miles better. But the more the time has come over his Gillingham career, the more I feel like, we've never really upgraded that position because Ryan Jackson could throw the ball and Che Alexander got forward, but he didn't really like crossing the ball. So, it's a weird one. There's no, unless they do go to a back 4 potentially down the line and move maybe Gale to right back or Smith to right back and do something there. But if they don't do that, I think his position's pretty safe because it only seems to be at left back that they put a winger there. I can't see if McCleary was fit, whether they would put him at wing back and go down there. But for me, unfortunately, he's got gradually worse as his Gillingham career's gone on.
Yeah, and Bex, it's a shame, isn't it? Because as we say, like at the beginning of the season, I thought he was absolutely brilliant. We were starting to see the Romeo Hutton that we thought we'd bought when we brought him from Swindon. And at Swindon and previously was the second highest assist or something in the whole country. Is it because we don't have a backup so he knows he's got free reign, or is it because he's just getting a little bit too big for himself, or is it just like the rest of the squad at the moment? They just continuously seem to fall apart in any given situation.
I think there is definitely some complacency there from him because, as you say, there's no competition. I think my biggest bugbear with Hutton is he just won't shoot. The amount of times this season that he's got the ball on the edge of the box and actually the best option is for him to have a strike, and he looks up and he looks left and then he passes it to someone who's surrounded by defenders. And I just don't understand why he doesn't want to have a strike, because we see him take strikes during the warm-up. We know he can shoot. He's a footballer. He should be able to shoot. But I don't understand why he's not doing that. I always liked Che. So Hutton coming in, we were told was going to be an upgrade, but I think there were elements to his game, particularly with striking, that Che had that Hutton doesn't. But if we want him there for the role of assisting, he's got to be getting assists regularly, week in and week out. And I haven't seen that from him. And I think if he doesn't prove himself, he's got to be replaced. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. Yeah. Rob, I'll go back to you, mate, because I do believe that I forgot your actual overview of the game. Sorry, mate. I'm struggling today. I've been in bed all day with this bloody flu, so we're doing the show tonight, and then I'm going to bed. So, yeah, what was your overview of the game, mate?
Well, actually, I think straight away, playing a back five with wing backs, your wing backs become your width in your team. That's your out ball. And I feel like teams are coming to Priestfield now and they're playing wingers. And what the wingers are doing is they're pushing them back. So it becomes a flat back five. So you haven't got an out ball there now. So the only result of that is you start playing long balls. And what we saw yesterday for 45 minutes, he's trying to hit folks every single time. And it becomes predictable. And then when you do get an out ball, there's no one there. When you've got the opportunity to go wide, there's no one there because suddenly your wing backs have got to bust a lung to get up there. So it becomes very difficult. And I feel like that's the problem with a back five. If you're going to play a back five, you've got to have a majority of the possession to be able to get your wing backs forward and have your width in your team. I also feel like having a big man up front almost encourages to go long. And it gets very boring watching it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, we all know what's going to happen. The centre half's got the ball. He's going long. Like, we know that. So if we know that, the opposition know that. So we need to think of something else. We need to work something out because it was hard watch. It was a hard watch again. I think second half we were better. I think that's the story of the season. We're always slightly better in the second half, shooting towards the Raynham end. But yeah, it's all in all, it's just not good enough. We don't create enough. We don't play the ball on the floor enough. I feel like we're overrunning midfield week in, week out. You know, Little works his butt off. Do you know what I mean? His arse off. Sorry, the kids next door. I try not to swear. So, you know, like, but you know, it's quite simple. Like, they work hard, but I just feel like they get overrun week in, week out, and I don't know what the solution is. Like, because like you try different players, well, I'd like to try a different formation. That doesn't really happen. But nothing seems to be working. And my other gripe is if you want consistency and you want things to improve and performances, then there has to be a consistency within the team. Like, you can't change your front two every single week and have a different partnership and expect them players to know how to play with each other. Like, the best teams in this division, they have the same centre forward pairing week in, week out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was something that I was actually going to raise, but before I do, Bex, I'll go with you, and I absolutely agree with what Rob says, but I'll go with you your thoughts on the game overall, and then I will ask you this question, actually. As Rob's just alluded to, do you think that we're literally, like, it's like we're putting names into a hat at the moment and just coming out? I appreciate there's been injuries, I appreciate that, but you can't expect a team to have any kind of cohesiveness if you're chopping and changing every single week.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's a bit of a vicious circle because players are putting in inconsistent performances, and we've got players who either have a brilliant game or they have a rubbish game. And 1 minute we're saying, oh, so-and-so was brilliant. And then the next minute we're saying that they're having a really bad spell. But if they're not getting to play consistently, how are they going to build consistency in their own game? It's so hard when you keep chopping and changing. And when you look at some of the really good teams, you know, throughout football history, they don't necessarily have the biggest squad, but they have the squad which is consistent, which we need. And I think my biggest gripe recently, and you feel free to disagree with this, is that when we're defending, we never leave a man up. And I don't understand that. When we're playing so defensively, surely if we're leaving someone like Vokes up near the halfway line, he's going to pull a couple of defenders out and actually make defending set pieces easier. And it just seems that they flatly refuse to do that. And I was really shocked one point in the first half, I think it was, and Vokes was the last man. And we'd been defending and everyone was sort of running out of the box. And he was the one pushing everyone up and saying, get out, get out. And I thought, that's not your job, Vokes. You should be up on the halfway line. That should be one of the defenders doing that. And for me, that is one of our biggest problems is our attackers can't attack because they're defending. And I think that's where we need to have that consistency, because there's no trust between the defenders and the midfield, and then the attackers are having to come back and support. And I think that's where a lot of the problems lying.
Yeah.
I also think as well, if you're the majority of teams that play deep and are defensive minded, they play on the counter attack. To play on the counter attack, you have to have pace. Pace doesn't exist in this current Gillingham squad, so therefore you can't play that way because there's no out ball. There's never an out ball.
Yeah, so I do want to just touch on the goals quickly. Obviously, the only good passage of play we really had came through Aaron Rowe. And then it was a nice ball into Robbie McKenzie. And obviously, Robbie McKenzie being Robbie McKenzie, he slotted away nicely. So, David, we keep talking about we're pumping the ball up top. The only moment in the game where we actually did anything on the ground, we made something happen, didn't we?
Yeah, and it goes to show they should do it more, because you look at the people that play up front in Andrews and Vokes. They're the ones that we normally hit. It very rarely sticks with Andrews. He wins a lot of headers, but again, he doesn't really flick it to anyone. He more just wins a header and it goes somewhere. And but bar yesterday, I thought Vokes was poor yesterday. But normally Vokes is and he should be because of his experience, is a better version of Andrews, because he's been a Premier League and international footballer. So he's a bit more better when he's directing it. But it does go to show that this type of goal that we can do it. And I think I said a few shows ago, when I can't remember who it was that passed the ball in and around us and tapped the ball in from 6 yards, and I said Gillingham would never score a goal like that. This is the type of goal I like to see, and I think it goes to show that we can do it, and we should do it more. We've got some technically good footballers. We just don't see it, and that's not on Gareth. This has been over the last few managers. We very rarely see us play how Colchester did, where they were knocking it around for fun and all of that. And again, it's not our way of playing. But it was nice to see us score a team goal rather than a set piece or a scrappy goal. It felt like we saw a proper goal, and it was nice to see. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll ask the same question to you, Bex. Obviously, Robbie's goal. Do you feel that Gareth may not understand some of the players so much? Because if we're continuously knocking it long, and then when we do get it on the floor, like Aaron Rowe did, do you think that maybe he's not understanding some of their actual ability?
I think he understands. I just think he's still trying to find what's working. I think because there has been so much change and so many injuries and so many people in and out of various positions. I just hope that he's seen that goal and said, right, this is what we need to do, because what I've seen from Aaron Rowe recently has been he gets the ball and he's so busy trying to impress everyone with his little tricks and flicks and step overs. And we know he can do them, but then he loses the ball. And this was one of those occasions where he didn't. He got the ball, he knocked the pass in, and boom, goal comes off the end of it. And I'd like to see more of that, because when we're passing the ball and we're passing the ball fast, we look like a different team. And I don't know why we don't do it more. Whether they've spent just loads of time in training working on set pieces because they know that's where the goals are coming from, I don't know. But I think if we're not going to have pace, fast passing has got to be the way to go.
Yeah. Yeah, Rob, obviously we've spoken about the game and everything else, but do you feel that, we're just it kind of feels to me like we've gone from Neil Harris ball to Clem ball. We've then gone to Bonner ball. We've then gone to, and we've come full circle now, and we're back to fucking Harris ball.
Yeah, I think it's every time the ball goes wide, it goes straight. It just goes straight in. Like, I don't even know if they look. I don't even know if they have a look to see who's in the box. It just is a natural instinct just to pull it in. Like, half the time it gets over hit and goes out for a throw in on the other side. You know, very rarely is there anyone apart from Andrews in the box with 2 or 3 defenders around him. You know, it's very hard for him to get on the end of them. Like, the goal yesterday, he got his head up and he picked someone out. Like, and quite often there'll be players coming in on the edge of the box. And if you actually get your head up and have a look, they're there. The option's there. It doesn't have to just go in towards the big man all the time. Like, it is, you're right. You're right. It has become like we've gone back in time. Yeah.
But do you think that's because there's no consequence? That, again, if you use Hutton for an example, if he puts his cross in and there's only one person in the box, he's like, well, I did my job. I've put the cross in. Whether it goes to anyone is a different story, because, it does feel like at times they just put the cross in and, there's one person, especially yesterday, especially the first start, it felt like it was literally always one person in the box because everyone was just a little bit slow and they're literally just hitting it. And Tucker was just winning everything in the air yesterday.
Because half the time Andrews is running from deep to try and get in the box, and by the time he's got there, he's got no energy left. He can't jump. He's used all his energy to get there, and then he's got nothing in the leap. Like, you've got to have more people in the box for one, and there's got to be some kind of idea. That ball's got to be aimed at someone. Like, otherwise it's going to come to nothing time and time again.
Can I just... Sorry, Chris, can I just jump in and add to that? We're still doing this thing where we're waiting to win the ball back until we're defending really deep. And that's not helping players like Andrews, because we're letting them come onto us and come onto us and come onto us and then going, oh, right now we need to defend. And then everyone's back by the goal. If we can win the ball back higher up the pitch, what Rob's just been saying about doesn't happen because they've only got to run half as far. It's common sense to me, but...
I do want to just pick up on something that really pissed me off last night. So we had a corner, right? The corner comes in, the ball then goes back out to Romeo Hutton, who could attack the ball, right, and have a shot or do something with it. He then decides to have a brain fart, turn around and pass it back to Jake Turner. Like, what the hell is that about? Like, you're attacking the ball. Like,
confidence.
Do something. So, David, I'll go with you on that.
It's confidence for me. It's almost if it's not at my foot, it's someone else's, and it's their fault if it goes wrong. And I think that, and that's not just. I know that was, especially at the time of the game, it was coming close to injury time or in injury time. I think when he did that, but for me, when that happens, it's almost like they just want to get rid of it. And if someone else loses it, at least it's not me.
Yeah, I was had a few expletives at that moment in time because, you've got the ball pretty much, 30, 40 yards out. You've got acres of space to run into. Just have a pop. Why are you turning around and passing it back to Jake Turner when you could have just had a pop? I think this is a fundamental issue. I think it's confidence throughout the squad. We don't have it. Like, it's not there. Like, they're not happy just to have a quick pop here and there. Aaron Rowe did it a couple of weeks ago and he had a quick pop and he scored a goal. Like, these are the things if you don't take your chances, you're not going to win the prizes. So you need to be doing that. So if we've got nothing to talk about the game, because I honestly thought that Colchester were everything that we weren't. Like, they were good on the break, they were good in certain areas, they were good this, that, and the other. So I think we need to move
quickly.
Sorry,
what do you think our strikers could do more? Because, again, we've just described through this game, they're not being given a lot of opportunities. But do they ever look like they're trying to create anything for themselves? Like, how many shots did our strikers have yesterday? And that's all 4 of them that came on the pitch. I think Nevitt had one when he came on that went over. But how many times do you see Palmer Holden shoot from 18 yards? How many times do you see Vokes shoot from 18 yards? You just don't. And do they need to do more?
I think you need 18 yards worth of space to be able to shoot from 18 yards, because if you're hitting the ball up front and everyone's all of a sudden resetting around you, you don't get that space to do so. I think for me, and I mean no disrespect to Sam Vokes, but I think he's past it personally. You know, there was one header in the first half where he's gone up to header it. Someone of his experience, mate, should at least get and he's totally missed it, and it's like gone behind him. And I'm just like, really? Like, it's just small things like that. And when you've also got like strikers up front, and Gareth turned around in the first half when Seb Palmer Holden was trying to do something, and he turned around and went, "You're the runner, not the header," right? And trying to get him to do. Is it a case that he's not good enough? I'd like to think Seb Palmer Holden could come good. I don't necessarily think he's an out-and-out striker. I think he's much like Elliot Nevitt. I think that he's, I don't know, puts a lot of effort in, a lot of huff and puff, but very little end product. Sam Vokes, I think is past it. I love Sam Vokes. So as a kid growing up, not as a kid, but like a middle-aged teenager / 21-year-old, like growing up watching Sam Vokes, but I just think that he's past it at this stage. And I think it's kind of become a little bit of nepotism, where he's brought Gareth McCleary and Sam Vokes in. You know, they're past their best, but he's brought them in because they're mates. I think Gareth McCleary shows a lot more. I think Gareth McCleary at 38 years old has still got it. I just don't think that we're going to see a lot from a 38-year-old. I'm saying that as a 38-year-old myself. I've got the flu, mate, and I feel like dying. Like when I was 25 and I had the flu, like I was all right. But yeah, I just think that we need someone. We need someone up top. I think if we can keep this level of like defense, okay, it's not been great, but now Connor's back. I think that we can really like get into something there. I really think that if we got like an out-and-out goal scorer and we played a 5 or a 4, I think that we can actually like do something and be a decent side, because we've actually inherited from Gareth this level of shithousery now. So we're not easy to play against. Yes, we're hard to beat. We weren't that a little while ago. We were easy to beat. We would roll over. So I think once we get 2 or 3 more players in, I'm not saying that loads of these players should stay, but I'm saying that if we get 2 more players in January that can really cement what Gareth's trying to do, I don't think that Gareth will play Route 1 football as much, because I think that he would trust the players that he's got around him to do more than what we are capable of doing at the moment.
But with our league position, do you think the Gallinsons will back them? Because as I said, I've seen some stuff on social media, and for me, it wouldn't be a dream signing, but it'd be a really good signing. Is I've seen that they think Wrexham are going to recall Paul Mullin from Wigan because he's not been playing. Do you think that's someone that we could entice? Would that be someone that we would want for the money, or is that someone that we're just never going to be getting a Paul Mullin at Gillingham?
Would you get him into League 2 would be my first question.
If he's not getting into a League 1 side, so League 2 seems the next option.
Yeah, well, how old is
and if he
31?
can't score for us, then no one can.
Yeah, how old is he? 31. I think he's 31.
So.
Yeah, so he's still not necessarily old. So yeah, I think potentially if we could, but then again, it goes back to, doesn't it, like service. If you're going to get it, you're not going to have Paul Mullin scoring 20, 30 goals a season if you're just hoofing it Route 1 all the time. But Rob, I know you were trying to say something, mate, so I won't interrupt. Sorry.
Yeah, so I think I watch it, and the top centre forwards follow balls in. You know, when someone shoots from the edge of the box, the striker's instinct is to go and follow it in. The goalkeeper might palm it away, it might take a deflection and fall at your feet 6 yards out. Our forwards don't seem to do that. Like the amount of times a goalkeeper like fumbles it and there's a defender there and the striker's miles away, or the goalkeeper has an opportunity to then jump on it again. You know, I watch little things like that. That's where goals come from. That's why players like Michael Cheek score so many goals, because they live in the 6 yard box. Yeah. Like when they're going forward, his first instinct is to get between the 2 centre halves and be as close to goal as possible. Like our forwards, we get the ball and they go wide.
Yeah.
Like they go and play on the left wing when we get the ball. Like they don't want to be in the box. Like, and if you're not in the box, you don't score goals. Like it's not rocket science. Like
it's not.
Do you know what I mean? I'm not a football coach. I haven't got any qualifications, but I know to score a goal, you have to be near the goal.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Or you have to be Lionel Messi. Do you know what I mean? But they're not. So
yeah. So we'll move on if no one's got anything else to say, and we'll talk about what happened at full time, because I had a very good view of it. I know that some people have said, "Oh yeah, Cowley started it, Gareth started it, this started it." So I'm gonna go with Rob on this one. Obviously, you and Beck sit in the Rainham end. What did you see before I actually give the facts?
Well, I'd left a minute early, so I was already at the back of the Rainham end, and it was on the TV. So I stood there and I watched it on the TV, and they zoomed in. So it was great because I actually got a really good view. And from what I saw, actually, it was two managers that disagreed on something. Something was said. Someone reacted. I'm not pointing the finger. Right? We've all seen the footage. I'm not. Whatever followed that was one hell of a melee, wasn't it? Like, the only thing I really took out of that was their number 9 and how we pulled Nevitt out of that crowd. For me, that's assault. If you do someone to that if you do that to someone on the street, you're going to be in court having a hearing.
Yeah.
So
to be fair, if someone did that to me in the street, mate, they wouldn't be alive much longer.
No,
because
if the FA, if the FA don't look at that and there isn't any retrospective punishment and a nice 4 or 5 game ban for that, then you can get away with anything in the game. I think it showed two groups of players that had a tough game that were very frustrated with referee decisions. I feel like the referee lost control of that game from 30 seconds in when he first blew his whistle. You know, you said at the intro, like, someone sneezed and the free kick was given, someone was put in a chokehold and nothing was given. And I feel like the whole game was just, there was no control of that game. And I think that just boiled over at the end. And I think certain individuals within that melee, the FA need to have a look at. But the rest of it was handbags, wasn't it? Really?
It was. Oh, do you know, I'm just going to go out and say it. So when the game kicked off, right, the 4th official, Charles Breakspear, we will know him because he's a terrible referee. He just had no control. Like, Danny Cowley kept coming like miles out of his technical area, absolute miles, right? And he wasn't doing anything. Gareth was standing there and being calm. Gareth was standing there and just going, "Look, can you sort him out?" kind of thing. And he was just letting him get on with it, right? In the first half, he even targeted Max Clark, Danny Cowley. He went, "Oh, you're here as well, are you?" Like, and really tried to mug Max Clark off. Gareth did nothing. Gareth stayed calm, everything else. Second half, because the bloody craze got together and Nicky Cowley came down from the bloody gods, they started getting a little bit more attitude and they started just giving it a little bit more to our technical area. Gareth was calm. Gareth did nothing wrong. And then it was about 30 seconds to a minute before the full-time whistle. Danny Cowley has come over to Gareth, said something to him, and then Gareth's gone, hey, like, and then tried to speak to the 4th official again for the millionth time, because Max Clark had already come down from his seat and tried to speak to the 4th official as well, right? Then the full-time whistle's gone, without the 4th official doing absolutely anything. He's done nothing the whole game. Danny Cowley's tried to walk over to Gareth and shake his hand, and Gareth's grabbed his jacket, because the whole 90 minutes, Gareth and the players and Darren and the technical staff have been subjected to absolute fucking vitriol from that person, right? The manager. And then as soon as Nicky Cowley comes down, Danny Cowley gets all big and hard about himself and thinks he can take on the world, right? Gareth did nothing wrong there, apart from the end of the game after dealing with an hour and a half of absolute shit from that manager, has literally grabbed his top, and then it's all kicked off. That is the way that I saw it, and that is the way I saw it throughout the whole game. I had a bit of a to do with Danny Cowley myself, because I turned around and went, "Sit down, you gormless twat." Right? Okay, I shouldn't have said it. Right? But he then pointed at me and was like, "I'll see you afterwards." And you know, like, that's the level of like what we're dealing with here. Is an absolute shithouse. Right? Everyone says, "Oh, Gareth grabbed him first." Yeah, Gareth did grab him, but after an hour and a half of dealing with that rubbish, what would you do? Sorry. Anyway, carry on. David.
Yeah, I think a bit like Rob said, it felt like it was a game of frustration that got to everyone at the end because, as you can see from the graphic there, 2 yellow cards. I think in the first 3 or 4 minutes, I think someone got past Dak and he pulled him back. Dak pulled someone back. I think McKenzie pulled someone back. And for me, if you're a referee, they're the ones you're like, oh, thank God, that's an easy yellow. And from that moment, when it first happened, I was sitting there thinking, oh, that's all right. We got away with that. But it kept going for the whole 90 minutes. And then at the end, obviously, it doesn't look good on Gareth. I know, again, it's a still picture. It doesn't look good that your manager's grabbing him. And I'm sure Gareth will get punished for that. But then, the melee after just felt like it went on for ages. It felt like they were stopping and then another group were going for it. And I think it's good that your players show passion and stuff. But I think that, both clubs are obviously going to get fined heavily for it. And for me, it just boiled down to an inexperienced ref that frustrated the hell out of everyone, and it caused chaos come the end. And I'm sure if both dugouts would probably are regretting what they've done, and we just have to deal with what comes and just hope the fine's not too much, and hopefully Gareth doesn't get some sort of touchline ban for it. I'm sure he won't, but fingers crossed it's not too expensive.
But are the Cowleys actually regretting it? Because I've had a mate of mine that's a Colchester fan messaged me earlier saying it doesn't surprise me. Danny has a tendency to rub people up the wrong way, more so when Nicky is in the dugout too. Thought the ref was really inconsistent, which he was. I think the ref was part of the problem. But when you got a Colchester fan messaging me that, right, like, what is Gareth meant to do? Gareth isn't one of them that goes all shithouse and this, that, and the other. I mean, I was expecting it more from Darren potentially, but Gareth spent the whole game and he was holding his own. Even when Max Clark got up and spoke to the fourth official, right, Gareth was saying, "Oh, calm down, calm down." It was that one comment. I think it just tipped him over the edge. That one comment, 30 seconds to a minute before full-time whistle, when Daniel Cowley came over into our technical area and said something to Gareth, and Gareth went, "Hey," right? That was the thing for me, right? So yes, okay, Gareth shouldn't have grabbed him by the top, but when you've dealt with it for that long, mate, I'm sorry, but I would have kicked off after 5 minutes, but that's me. Do you know what I mean?
I think the fourth officials as well. The fourth officials probably aren't paid enough to want to get involved,
but they're not getting involved. They're not even getting involved, mate. David, they're not even getting involved when Danny Cowley is literally halfway down the pitch trying to give instructions to his team. Like they're so far out of their technical area, it's unreal.
Was his instruction by any chance, you fall over this time? You go down with an injury this time?
Well, I don't know what kind of manager Danny Cowley is, but like for the first half, he had a bloody earpiece in and he kept looking up at the bloody thing going, like,
I think Nicky was up in the top tier when he the first half.
He probably was, but like if you're a manager,
big time Charlies, aren't they? They've managed at the same level as Gareth. They've managed championship, and they probably think they're above this level, and they're the big I ams, and if they say something, they get all the decisions. And
they done a great job. They done a great job at Portsmouth, didn't they?
Yeah. I know. Right. Anyway, we digress. We do have a comment, and I do want to bring this up because Andy's made a very good comment. A Gillingham supporter has been arrested for racial abuse. We know that. Apparently, it's a 6-year-old man from Swanley. I do just want to say that regardless of what happens at games, regardless of your feelings or your emotions, racial abuse is absolutely abhorrent, and there's no need for it, right? You can sit there and call someone a gormless twat. You can sit there and, say this, that, and the other to people, or say fuck off, or whatever you want to say. But absolutely, racial abuse is disgusting. So, yeah, just thought I'd bring that one up as well. If we are finished with the game, ladies and gentlemen, we will quickly move on to our man of the matches. And ladies first this week, so I'll go with you, Bex.
Yeah, I mean, there were a few choices. I tossed up about Turner. I thought first half he made some brilliant saves. But I just thought that Gale worked really, really hard. He looked a lot more comfortable than he has done in the last couple of games, whether that's just, having Connor next to him or whether he's just had a bit of sort of respite over Christmas. I don't know. But he was just solid. He was putting tackles in. He was the one person that was getting in quick with their tackles, which I always like. And you just always think something good's going to happen when he gets on the ball. So I thought he had an excellent game.
Yep. And we will go to Mr. Rob, and you've gone for Aaron Rowe.
I think. Well, firstly, I mean, when someone who you've criticised for the last number of weeks, especially as a left back, puts in a performance like he did yesterday, I think it needs to be appreciated, because I actually feel like he was our best out ball for the whole game. I feel like the better chances we had in the game came down that side with him. The assist, the way he got his head up and picked him out for the assist was fantastic. I just think, I think you've got to give credit where it's due. And for me, it was Rowe or Turner. And both of them I've been critical of this season. So it was actually very nice to be able to look at them two and go, which one is it? Because I think Turner was fantastic yesterday as well. But for me, credit where it's due. He had a good game.
There we go. And David, yourself, mate, you've gone for Jake Turner himself?
Yeah, mainly for his first half performance. I think without his first half performance, we'd lose the game. Obviously, second half, he had a few dodgy moments where he was going in for 50-50 tackles with the centre forwards. But I thought some of the saves he was making in the first half, some of the reflex saves were phenomenal. And like I said, I think I gave him man of the match a few weeks ago for exactly the same thing. That without him yesterday, I think we would have lost the game.
Yeah.
Do you think Turner's Gingham's number one now? With the run of games he's had now, with Morris's age, Morris' injury, do you think Morris comes back in ASAP?
I wouldn't even be shocked if it's against Swindon.
Yeah. I don't think he's done a bad job. And he has been my man of the match several occasions in the last few weeks. But I just think that Glenn, even at his age, gives us something more. You always feel a little bit more confident and that when Glenn's in goal. And it's nothing against Jake. I'm not his biggest fan. Actually, I'm probably his biggest critic. But at the same time, you have to appreciate things when they happen. And I do feel that he's been very good. He's not been Glenn Morris good, though. So, for me.
But for me, in my opinion, I think we need I still think we need a keeper.
Oh yeah, no, I think we do. I think we do. I think maybe that situation can wait until the summer though, because you got two. Right, so you've got Jake Turner, who is an okay League Two goalkeeper, and then I think you've got Glenn Morris, that's a very good League Two goalkeeper. I don't think that we need to necessarily, because you then got Tate that can come in and cover. It'd be very unlucky if two goalkeepers got injured, but it could happen. But I can't see that being a real necessity until the summer at least, because you never know what Glenn's going to do. Glenn might turn around and just be like, I want to be a goalkeeper coach, or I just want to move on and just retire. Jake might decide that, if I'm not going to be number one, I want to go elsewhere. But at the moment, I think we've got a very good League Two goalkeeper and an okay League Two goalkeeper. And then we've got Tate Holton, who's still a very young lad. So for me, I'd rather go for someone up front that can score goals, to be honest, mate.
I think in the summer, Turner goes and Morris stays to become the number two.
Yeah. But then who should bring as number one?
Someone better. Someone better than both.
Well,
someone young.
I mean, that's such an easy thing to say, though.
Definitely, better. It's a tough.
David is not going to be in any way, shape, or form part of the recruitment team in the future, because if Brad and Shannon say, "Who do we need in goal?"
Someone good.
I think Morris has been a good goalkeeper, but I just think he's getting to that age now where he's getting a lot of niggles, and his injuries are taking longer to recover from. But I think he'd be a brilliant number two for someone. And I just think, I think if we've got aspects that to get out of this division, I don't think with Jake Turner being a number one, that we'd be good enough to get out of the division.
Yeah. No, that's fine. So I will, before I go on to my man of the match, we forgot Phil's thoughts, so we should add them in really, because we always love Phil's thoughts.
I never draw, but this one feels like a defeat. We deserve to win that, and unfortunately, the referee did everything he could to try and make sure that we could. I don't like criticising referees, but goodness, I think he made some power tonight. Well, onwards and upwards. Let's hope we start 2026 with a win. Up the Gills.
There we go. So I went for Sam Gale as my man of the match as well. I just feel that with he's kind of lacked a little bit of something in recent weeks, but with Connor Masterson alongside him, Connor was shouting him and telling him what to do, where to be. I just felt that he was a lot better, and he looked like the Sam Gale we'd seen earlier on in the season, rather than the Sam Gale we've seen in recent weeks, where he looked a little bit lethargic. So yeah, Sam Gale for me. So we'll quickly move on to a look ahead, and we've got to play this team again. Swindon have lost 1-1, lost 1, and we've drawn, lost, drawn. So Rob, I will come to you first on this one, and your hopes and aspirations for Thursday.
Hope for a win as always, especially in this one. The reality, I'll take the draw. I'll take the 1-1. Let's have it 1-1 again. I'll take that. No, listen, we got to believe. You have to believe, and you have to want every week to win and get 3 points, and that has to be the aspiration of everyone involved in the football club. So, yeah, look, let's go for it. 2-1 Gills.
There we go. It's got a comment from Mike. Big up Jake the Giraffe after his comments a couple of weeks ago on the show where he thought that he had a really long neck. You know, it's not all that Jake's got going for him, but, you know, okay. And Bex, I'll come to you and your hopes and aspirations for Thursday.
Yeah, I fancy our chances.
Yeah.
I've been known to say many times we play better against good teams, and we seem to have more luck against teams that are at the top that we're expected to lose to. So I'm hoping we've got a win for this one. And I think, given the sort of rumblings and the murmurings from everyone of late, if we can pull a win out of the bag at that match, I think it will just settle everyone's nerves a little bit and make everyone a bit more positive. And then hopefully that has a good knock-on effect so we can get a bit of a run going. So, yeah, let's go for the win.
There you go, David, yourself.
So it'd be very Gills if we do win, but I think a bit like Rob, I would definitely, I wouldn't want to draw, but I would definitely take one in this one because I think it's going to be a very, very long afternoon. And I think taking something from this fixture will definitely benefit us. I just hope your friends in recruitment have got people lined up for early January and not late January when 3 or 4 games have gone past. I think if we've got players in mind to bring them in as quickly as we can and get as many games out of them as we can.
Yeah, I think so, mate. I think I'm not putting on Gareth at the moment, like I said on Saturday's show. I said like I've not got a problem with Gareth's recruitment so far. I've just got a problem with the still ever existing players that he didn't actually bring in. I don't think half of them are good enough. Still stick by that. But yeah, I reckon, I really do. Something about this game, I really do think we're going to win this. I've got that real optimism where I'm thinking, do you know what? It's going to be typical us. We've just been absolutely terrible. We've got a team that are in form, essentially, and we're just going to go and just beat them. Which does it really help us, considering that they will probably surround the ground afterwards. Never mind. Anyway, yeah, so I'm going for a win on Thursday. I really am going for a win. New year, new start. Let's just even if it's a scrappy 1-0, comes off someone's arse in the 90th minute, I think we're going to win. So
We'll send you to the bar just before half time so Bradley Dack can score one.
Oh yeah, I know, it's always the way, isn't it? Always the way. Every time I go on the 40th minute, Bradley Dack scores a goal. So we are sponsored by Snodhurst Used Cars Service Station. We are also sponsored by Wiki Creative and in partnership with Her Game 2 and Sports Social Podcast Network. So if there's anything else, guys, I will just quickly say, join, follow, subscribe. Join us at The View from the Medway on Facebook. Follow The View from the Medway Fancast at TVFTM on X, because we are looking to get to 1,000 followers by the end of this season. So if you can do that, that would be absolutely fantastic. Or you can subscribe at The View from the Medway Fancast on YouTube. Again, all of them are free. Doesn't cost you a thing. We would never do that. We're not one of these Patreons. I appreciate people do Patreons and they probably do really well from it, but you know, we're just fans, just doing fans things. So before we go, I will go to Bex and anything else you would like to add before we shoot off.
Nope, I'm good.
No, all good.
Rob, David?
Wish all the Gills fans listening a happy new year, and hopefully that it brings a lot more success than 2025.
There we go. So we will shoot off. Do just want to wish again everyone a happy New Year's Eve. Don't get too drunk tomorrow night. I can't really say that because you know I probably will be, even though I feel absolutely terrible. But yeah, other than that, we'll see you on New Year's Day at Swindon. I've been Chris. He's been Dave. She's been Bex. Thank you again for stepping in last minute. And he's been Rob. Good night and up the Gills.
The View from the Medway.